$950 billion. That is how much big tech has lost in market value since a federal judge declared Google a monopoly. One ruling, one company. And the largest antitrust battle since Standard Oil is just getting started. In the next 8 minutes, you will see how this fight mirrors the two biggest monopoly breakups in American history and why the outcome could reshape the technology industry. The year is 1911. Standard Oil controls 91% of US oil refining. One company, one man, John D. Rockefeller. He built his empire through exclusive railroad deals, secret rebates, and relentless acquisitions. Competitors were given a simple choice: sell to Rockefeller or be destroyed. For a small refinery owner in Cleveland, Rockefeller's offer was not a negotiation. It was a funeral notice. Most sold. The ones who fought back were undercut on price until they collapsed. By the early 1900s, Standard Oil touched almost every barrel of oil refined in the United States. The Supreme Court orders the company broken into 34 separate pieces. Wall Street panics. Newspapers predict economic disaster. But within a decade, those 34 fragments are worth far more than the original monopoly. Jersey Standard becomes Exxon. Standard Oil of New York becomes Mobil. The breakup did not destroy value, it unleashed it. Now fast forward to 1984. AT&T controls every telephone line in America. Long distance, local calls, and the hardware itself. If you wanted to make a phone call, you had one option. The Department of Justice forces a breakup into 7 regional companies. The press calls them the baby bells. Predictions of chaos fill the headlines. None of that happens. Long-distance prices fall by 40% within 5 years. New carriers like MCI and Sprint enter markets locked shut for generations. The telecommunications revolution begins. 2 monopolies, 2 forced breakups, 2 predictions of disaster. Both times, the market did not collapse. It flourished. Google now faces 3 simultaneous antitrust battles on 2 continents. No company has faced pressure like this since Standard Oil. The first is the search monopoly case. For years, Google reportedly paid Apple $20 billion per year to remain the default search engine on every iPhone sold worldwide. That single deal locked out every competitor. No rival could match the payment. A federal judge ruled this arrangement was anti-competitive. But the remedy he imposed was behavioral, not structural. Google must offer users a choice screen. It does not have to sell anything. The DOJ says this remedy is toothless. They want structural changes that would permanently alter how Google operates. The appeal is moving through the courts. The second front is the advertising case. Judge Leonie Brinkema in Virginia is deciding whether Google must sell AdEx, its massive ad exchange platform. Prosecutors allege Google deliberately rigged its own ad auction. Internal documents unsealed during the trial reveal a deal with Meta, codenamed Jedi Blue. Meta allegedly received preferential access to Google's ad network. In return, Meta scaled back its own competing ad technology. For every small publisher relying on ad revenue, this trial is not an abstraction. It is their business model on the line. If Brinkema orders a forced sale of AdEx, it would reshape the $600 billion digital advertising market overnight. The third front is in Europe. The European Union has fined Google a cumulative €2.95 billion under the Digital Markets Act. Brussels is not just fining Google, it is demanding structural changes, interoperability requirements, Open App Store access on Android, an end to self-preferencing in search results. What makes this moment extraordinary is that all three fronts reinforce each other. Evidence from the search case is cited in the ad tech trial. EU findings appear in American court filings. Each case strengthens the others. So what actually happens if Google is broken up? Both Standard Oil and AT&T were predicted to collapse after forced breakups. Neither did. Their fragments grew more competitive and created more value than the original monopolies ever held. Wall Street analysts have begun modeling what a separated Google might look like. A standalone search company, a standalone YouTube, an independent ADX platform, a separate Android division. For an engineer at Google, the question is personal. Will the company they joined still exist in its current form? Some argue the parts could be worth more than the whole. Others warn that breaking them apart would weaken American competitiveness against Chinese technology giants in the race to dominate artificial intelligence. The stakes are enormous. According to recent estimates, big tech has already lost $950 billion in market value amid the antitrust uncertainty. The market is not waiting for a final verdict. It is already pricing in the risk. The court has already ruled that Google is a monopoly. That question is settled. The question that remains is whether governments have the will to do what they did to Standard Oil and AT&T. History suggests that breakups are painful in the short term and transformative in the long term. The pattern held in 1911. It held in 1984. But Google operates in a world that Rockefeller and AT&T never imagined. A world where artificial intelligence, network effects, and data accumulation make reassembly possible almost overnight. Standard Oil could not rebuild itself once the pipelines were divided. AT&T could not reconnect the wires once the baby bells were independent. But code can be copied. Algorithms can be retrained. Data can be mirrored across servers in milliseconds. The real test of 21st century antitrust is not whether you can break a monopoly apart. It is whether you can keep it apart. What happens in these three courtrooms over the next 12 months will determine whether the age of digital monopolies ends here or whether it is only beginning.